R&B Money. We up. Thanks. jvalentine. We are the authorities on all things R&B.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tank.
I'm jvalentine.
And this is the R&B Money Podcast, the authority on all things R&B.
Yeah. Can't be humble today, though.
We are not
We're going to talk that shit today.
in a space where we can sit down and be humble.
No.
Although I am seated. How you sound is everything. How you come across the airwaves to people's ears, the sonic boom that happens when something is mixed correctly.
Yes.
It's
got to be in your DNA.
Preach, my good brother.
There's a mastering component to being able to mix.
Yeah, in the box.
That takes things to another level. The Grammy award-winning level. Yes, this intro is long, but this man deserves it. He's innovative. Records on records on records. The top artist in the universe.
The world, Craig.
If you want it mixed, it's got to be mixed by Ali. Derek, mixed by Ali. Ali in the building.
Come on, man. Come on. I love that.
Yeah.
What's going on, my boys? How y'all doing?
Shit.
Energy. I love it.
It's got to sound right.
Right. Come on.
My pet peeve. I'll tell you, Ruben will tell you. A driver driving me, because I like to drive myself. So, you know, when you're out of town doing gigs and stuff like that, a driver that doesn't know where he's going and an engineer that doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. It's the worst.
I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Right.
Until
I don't know, those two things burn my soul.
Yeah.
Because in order for me to be great, I have to get there.
Right.
Also, in order for me to be great, the first thing people do is hear me.
Right.
That's the first thing that happens.
The first impression.
That's the first impression.
It's like when you meet somebody and you look at their teeth or their nails first, you know, their toes, whatever the case is, you know.
We deal in sonic.
Right.
Yeah.
It is, I get it. I get the styling part of it. I get the branding side of it. I get all of these things. But it starts right here. When somebody says, what's that? Then they say, who's that?
Right. It's frequencies. You know, people don't realize how much it connects people. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the importance of what you do in engineer, like, you know, we're gonna get into the beginnings and, you know, really dive into how you have created who you are, right? But at one point we were having a conversation about where some engineers are like, I mean, I think that's worth some publishing.
Yeah.
I think that's worth some creative shares.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact, absolutely, I don't know where I would be without a few of the engineers that I've worked with and ones that I currently work with.
Yeah. I mean, I say it all the time, you know, a good mix, a make or break a record, you know how many records I've gotten from other engineers that put versions on them, right, and how they sounded compared to the final product. You know, it's one of the most important parts. I always say it's this trifecta of music creation, right? You have the artist sitting up top, right, but to the bottom left is the producer, the bottom right is the engineer, right, and once that trifecta is locked in, so it's an irreplaceable formula.
You don't want to disturb it.
You don't want to touch it.
I got OCD bad. So anytime there's like a transition, you know, of engineering, I'm shaking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm breaking out in hives. I'm like,
You can hear the little imperfection
you
from what was never there.
that's disturbing
Yeah.
the formula.
Yeah.
You know, eventually we figure it out and get it rolling. But and this is crazy. And I want you to speak to this real quick before we dive all the way in. Kids now that are producing, like I'm just talking about getting a pack from producers,
Mhm.
whether it be like a Cardiac or a Business Boy or whatever. These guys, these packs sound crazy.
Right.
Like they've been listening to what you guys are doing and applying it
Yeah.
at the house before they even send you a track. And I'm like, why does your track sound like this?
Right.
Like that information, like how do you feel as someone who, like this is your business. This is your well, not your bread and butter, because we're going to get into that. You do so many other things. But the importance of sharing that information, because back in the day, you weren't getting that information.
Yeah. Yeah.
You weren't getting that drum pack from an engine. Like, you have to know somebody that you kind of think I can get those mixed drums from. You like, it's different.
Yeah. I think it's time. You know, I think during those times, right, you know, the internet, social media, right, these platforms weren't, you know, readily available or accessible. You know, so I think with the times and the fact that a lot of these creators just don't have access to those resources to go to the music schools or to have all the money to get all the equipment, right? They're online figuring it out, right? These kids are pulling things, they're resampling, they're, you know, learning how to mix, master, and produce, right? Because, you know, it's out of necessity, right? And ultimately that's what makes these young kids masters early on. They've gotten their 10,000 hours before they even hit mainstream, right? And that's, you know, it's what's interesting to kind of watch is, you know, all these, you know, quote unquote bedroom producers or creators that are getting, you know, individuals that are higher, like myself, right? Getting re-inspired by looking at how they're doing things, right? Because that's the future, right? It's a means to stay relevant as well for someone like myself, right? So it's incredible, inspiring to watch, man. And you know, yeah.
As I'm watching Billie Eilish
And her brother.
brother,
Yeah.
Just innovative ways
in the
to create.
bedroom.
There is no boundary, right? There is no right or wrong to creating music. You know, and I think now more than ever, you know, the genre lines are being blurred with what sounds like what, and I think that's just introducing more creativity. You know, when you got albums like this Tyler project that just came out, you know, and all these incredible artists that are just, you know, again, creating sonic masterpieces. It's a product of just eliminating those borders.
Right. And like you said earlier, from necessity.
They're not a necessity.
Like I knew that the business was changing when I first heard Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
And Frank that.
and
found out that he produced the record.
Right.
And did the, you know what I'm saying? Like this
Going
whole
viral
thing.
on socials with the youth following.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's about to be a full shift.
Yeah.
Because this same record is the same record that's here. The same record he started with
Right.
is the same record that's at the top of the charts. Weeks, he's got the dance and got the whole thing going on. And he did it, as you said, in his room.
Yeah, yeah. And there's more of that, man. There's like over the years since Soulja Boy, right? There's countless artists that have taken off. You know, the whole quote unquote SoundCloud era, right?
Make sure you
know?
say Soulja Boy first, though.
Yeah, no, sorry, my boy. I know what you mean.
We don't know
You know what I'm
issues
saying?
with Big Soulja.
Please,
Big
Big
Soulja,
Soulja.
we know you did it first.
Yeah, facts.
You got the iPhone first.
100%.
Big
You know, but
Soulja.
that's just a testament to just evolving times. You
Yes.
know, it's evolving times, the technology, music, you know, creativity. Again, just these boundaries being eliminated now that these tools and platforms are now available. So it's like it's going to continue to expand even faster, right? As we you know, go forward in the music journey. You know.
I'm gonna start off asking you a question I asked my good brother Jason Joshua.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
As I've been knowing Jason Joshua since he was, you know, way back then.
Not an
He was
engineer.
n-
Not a mixer.
absolutely
Right.
not
Yeah.
an engineer. Nothing close. And I said, when did your ears tell you I hear this thing just a little differently from everybody else? When was that for you?
Man, I think honestly it was the Kendrick Lamar, the Section 80 project.
We're gonna start there.
Yeah, I think
that's just wild.
no, just because again, you think about it, right? I'm a kid that has no formal training in audio engineering, right? I don't even know what the fuck Pro Tools is at the time, right? I'm clicking buttons, I'm throwing plugins here, seeing what works, right? But I think at that point, throughout working on that project, right, and developing the sound with Kendrick, that kind of had this. Like, if you listen to anything that came out during that time, there was nothing that sonically matched that.
No.
Right. And it was when I realized that you could do that, right? The ADHD in me was like, yo, like you can take sounds and make them sound like this, or make them do this, and make them fly behind your ear, and make them sound like 2 or 3 different people are talking. And people are going to like that. And it was like, oh, there's no rules to this shit. Like, that's, I think, what pulled me in most was the fact that I could do what I wanted sonically, right? As long as you can experience the mix. That's what really dragged me into it,
And when you say you had no formal training, like, how do you like? What is point A? Like, what's the starting point?
Oh man, the hustle, man. From Gardena, California. All through high school, played football, but always having a few dollars so I can get a fresh white tee every morning.
Got you.
And my hustle then was ringtones. Before the old. I tell the story often, but it's before those, you can really buy ringtones online, right? When people were, the Soulja Boy days was, I just sold 5 million ringtones.
Yeah.
My boy did it first again. So yeah, man, how I got started, man, it was, what just kind of had me fall in the love of the arts of recording. I started making ringtones. So,
and how did you like, give me equipment, give me like how you did that.
Man, the equipment was just a cracked version of Cool Edit Pro. I don't know if anybody remembers the old school DAW, Cool Edit Pro. A headphone microphone. And that was it, man. I've been computer literate, and, I had laptops as a kid. My uncle, would gift me them for, the Christmas or whatever. But I found software that allowed me to crack the old Nextel phones. And put ringtones on there without those beeping ringtones. So back then, when there was just those mono beeping, ringtones, I would have friends come over and we would record these 30-second snippets that I would turn into their ringtone. And they'll be the only ones in the school that had them, right? And I was making hundreds a week. It was lit. Like,
So how much are you charging?
It was $20 a ringtone. But they came over. I lived right across the street from my school.
For a ringtone.
$20 a ringtone, right? But it was the whole experience. You know what I'm saying? You come
expensive,
record. Nah, you know what I'm saying? You come through. My grandma would serve you with some, some sweets. Like,
it's
it was
for the
grandma
exclusive
would
too.
serve you with some
You get a
sweets.
snack and a ringtone, nigga.
Come on, like no better experience. You know what I'm saying?
He already had the studio set up.
No, he's good.
I was the concierge. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure. I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just, again, I would have the makeshift curtains up in my closet. Again, I had the headphone microphone and, cliche, hey, don't answer this girl's phone. Just regular shit niggas would do when they 16, 17 years old. Mom's calling, pick up the phone, like whatever it was. And, as like just, I'm playing football during this time as well. But, I'm making some, for a kid in high school, I'm making some dollars.
Yeah.
And at that point, I realized, this could be a business. Early, I've always just been fascinated with just, building things myself, whether it's computers, remote control cars, businesses, figure out ways to start something and watch it kind of grow. And I realized, hey, this thing is cool, right? And I started researching more about, like, what am I doing right now, right?
Yeah.
And again, didn't know about the LA recording schools or didn't know about the SAEs. And when I found out about them, I couldn't afford the shit. $150,000. To go learn how to, record. And, I was like, I can't do that shit. So naturally went up to, some blogs, futureproducers.com and Gear Sluts and these other places. And, I would, kind of learn from there, learn through other people's, failures or questions that they have. I would reverse engineer the question to kind of see what they did and, go back and try it myself. So again, from the ringtones, got better equipment. Actually, I was, I was robbing off Craigslist so I can get the interfaces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't have, I didn't have nothing. And then, finally when I had this setup, I had Pro Tools now. I got a proper microphone, a proper interface. And, that's when I wanted to, hey, this is something I love. It was a passion. It was something that can sit me down for 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
A kid with ADHD, right? I'm off the walls and I'm sitting here shaping a snare, right? Trying to chop up vocals for 10 hours, right? This is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that essentially was the journey,
So were you more so toward music production at this side though? Because like you said, you're making the ringtone.
Right.
And you're doing that with your guys. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
asking, were you
Nah.
even thinking about the mix and how the sonics of it? Are you
Yeah.
just like, no, this just feels good?
No,
Like,
it just
this is
feels
cool.
good. I would find instrumentals like on LimeWire. You know, people will come freestyle, right? The homies would come after football practice freestyle. You know, I would add the reverb on there, and the room went crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? No one knew what the fuck I was doing. You know,
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, but yeah, man, that, you know, and from there, just always just on this quest for more, right? More information, more knowledge. You know, I reached out to Punch, you know, TD Punch, and Dave Free. I reached out to both of them on MySpace. You know, Dave went to my high school. He went to Gardena High with me. And then, you know, I always knew about TDE and, you know, what, you know, the guys were doing, J-Rock and everybody. And I hit Punch. I was like, yo, like, you know, I'm not looking for anything but just information, knowledge. Like, how can I, like, you know, work with you guys? How can I, you know, just add value to, you know, what's going on? You know, I want to be an audio engineer. And, you know, Punch told me to come by, you know, and from there I kind of just, you know, just.
You stayed.
I stayed. I was like the stepchild that, you know, that you know, just came and never left. And that was what, 2006, 2007.
And you come in as an engineer.
I come in as, honestly, somebody who's willing to do anything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I didn't even understand the role of an engineer at the time, you know.
And are you still in high school?
I'm still, I got kicked out of my grandma's house. I'm like graduating. It's like towards the end of the year, 2007. And, you know, I've met the guys and, you know, I met Top and everybody early on. But, you know, around 2007, once I graduated, that's when, you know, I moved into Top's crib. You know, we're all like sleeping on the floor, head to toe, you know, just recording all day. And that's, you know, when I'm like, okay, like I guess a group of guys, right, that, you know, are trying to become the best. And we weren't even really focused on trying to be the best, right? It was just something to do that was keeping us out the streets. You know, just having a place at, you know, at the studio to be able to get away from all the problems that we might deal with on a daily basis, to just create, right, without boundaries and without, you know, instruction, right? And ultimately what that did was, you know, everyone is now sharpening their swords. You know, you got Absol, you got J-Rock, you got K-Dot, at the time was K-Dot, and me now, right? You know, at the time Punch was recording, but now when I came in, he put me in that seat. And
Punch was engineering.
Punch was the full-time engineer at the time. Yeah, early days, he was recording. And,
yeah.
you know, now it's like the engineer here, you know, another piece of the puzzle that now I can step off and focus on, you know, on the overarching goals. And that just gave me an opportunity to now just sharpen my sword. Now I got 3 incredible artists that, you know, I'm sitting with for hours and days and hours and days and nights. And, you know, we got our 10,000 hours.
Then what was that transition like? Because it's like, you know, if Punch is like, at that time, the full-time engineer, there are nuanced things that
they're used to him. They're used to him engineering them.
What was that transition that, you know, okay, now you're in this seat. These are the things that need to happen. Or were you always sitting in and taking those notes so that by the time you got to that chair, you were more than ready?
Yeah. Now I've always been the observer type where, you know, I'm gonna look, be the fly on the wall, see where I could fit in, right? What hole can I fill, right? And, you know, Punch already had a formula for how they were tracking and recording, but I don't even think it was that far along to where the sonics even were like a main, you know, focal point, right? As long as we could hear the vocals, we're over this 2-track beat, we're fantastic, right? You know, but it was just watching how to really, again, you know, I'm still very, very, very early on Pro Tools, and, you know, Top and them had the 020 bar, the 020 console, had monitors, like, in my eyes, had a real professional setup, you know, and, you know, so they walked me through just what it was, what was the process, what was the flow. And I think over time and hours and days of working with all the artists individually, you kind of understand everyone's individual flow.
Gotcha.
You know, how everyone's recording speed is, right? Like you said, working with engineers, they got to be on it, right? And if not, it fucks your whole energy off. And, you know, you got to imagine, you know, working with 3 different artists. This is before Schoolboy Q came in. You know, working with these 3 artists, everyone, you know, came in at different times, had different styles, you know, obviously different vocal tones where you had to, on the fly, like make sure everything was coming in. So, yeah, man, it's just, yeah.
And y'all recording all day and all night.
It was 24/7.
Especially for you being the one engineer.
It's like, what else we gonna do? Like, we're all like, you fresh out of high school, like, you know, you know, besides the turn-ups on the weekends or whatever, like, you know, but even that, it's like everyone's meeting point and focal point was to get back to the studio, you know.
But when you're young, though.
That's, you know.
And
I've been there.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? What else are we gonna do?
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like and I think that's also a luxury of it, right? Just again, having the space and having time, right? I don't think people realize just, you know, a big part of the formula is just having that time that you could dedicate to your craft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and, you know, gratefully, you know, we were in a place, you know, might not have been the best place, you know, but we were in a place where, you know, we had the time, you know, we're all young, you know, not, you know, I don't think anyone had kids at that point. And it was just focus, right? And once things start getting serious, right? You know, J-Rock was at Warner Brothers, you know, and things just start to build up.
Yeah, we heard y'all stole the promo van. Oh, no, so y'all just, when y'all left with y'all.
I mean, hey,
Meeting you now, I'm like this. Got it. They had some real muscle with it.
It was a useful resource. You know what I'm saying? It was a very useful resource, you know?
Don't make Ali do it.
Nah.
Give up the van.
Oh, man, I remember those, man. Yeah, those were good Warner Brother days. Shout out to Naeem.
Yeah,
my
guy.
brother.
My guy.
But yeah, man, it was just, again, just as time progressed, man, it was, you know, I think everyone individually started really falling into, you know, and again, I go back to this 10,000 hour, right? Malcolm Gladwell, right? You have to, you know, to be great at any one thing, one must acquire at a minimum of 10,000 hours, right? And I go back and look in just the style of like Ab-Soul's evolution, of J-Rock's evolution, of Kendrick's evolution, you know, and Schoolboy Q's evolution, right? It's like, that wouldn't be possible if the space wasn't there to be able to have, you know, that free time to create, right?
Yeah.
So I look at it all as just divine timing, man. Like, you know, everything, you know, it was already written, right? We were just catching up to time.
So as we talk about engineering, the next step is the mixing part of it,
Right.
Right. I'm gonna do it in steps or stages, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so when is it occur to everyone that, man, these rough mixes that you're doing is hard.
Yeah.
Like this could be the mix.
Man, really, I'm trying to think what project that was. I think when we started doing, I think it was the Kendrick Lamar EP.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first project from going from K-Dot to Kendrick. You know, that was super just, that's one person that, you know, is super meticulous about how every one piece, what imperfection of a sound, like it's supposed to be there, right? You hear like a breath of a drum loop, right? I go and try to clip it out like it's supposed to be there, right? So just going through that journey with bro in those early days, you know, doing this Kendrick Lamar EP, you know, that's, I think, one of the first projects that I was working with stems. Right, Soundwave produced majority, if not all of it, with some co-production by Dave, etc. And now, you know, instead of just having two tracks,
stems for the people,
kick drums, bass, the breakdown,
everything is separated.
Everything's separated, and everything before that. Remind you, I'm working with two tracks.
With two tracks,
you know, so I'm chopping up the two tracks. I'm, you know, reversing. I'm trying to do what I can with what I have, right? And you know, and it worked to a certain level. It had its ceiling sonically. You know, so once we start working with multi-tracks, which was that first project, I started realizing the freedom now that I have to create these sonic landscapes, right? Dropouts, you know, delay throws, using the whole sound spectrum of left and right, you know, etc. That's when I was like, oh, okay, now we're playing the game for real.
You're painting now.
Now you're painting. Like, you know, this is my canvas and these instruments are the colors, right? And that's where the whole concept of seeing sounds come into place. You know, you know, I feel like when I mix, or you know, you get this feeling of tunnel vision where you're able to kind of have, you know, a 4-bar loop on repeat, and you're just like, again, just imagine Minority Report, you know, and you're just throwing shit. And, you know what I'm saying? And once you're, you know, once you're locked in, you're locked in, man. And so I think during that time, that's when, you know, again, just personally, you know, as an audio engineer, I felt that was a defining moment, you know, in my own personal career, with just the understanding of mixing in real time, you know, with all the elements included. You know,
does it become a conversation where it's like, oh, this is our sound, a TDE conversation, like this is what you're doing, this is what we're supposed to sound like, you know, across the board. Does that become a conversation?
I think naturally it just became law over time. You know, there was never no just creative, you know, restrictions or direction. You know, I think that's also what made me who I am, was the freedom that all the artists, including Top and Punch and Dave, has, you know, given me to be able to just throw things against the wall, right? The worst thing they're going to say is that let's just do it over, or let's bring it back, right? And Section 80 was a product of that, right? The distortions, the delays, the different tones, the doubles and stacks, and the texture, the essence, the sonic essence of that project, essentially was a product of, again, just, having that creative freedom and time, right? Because I couldn't afford that studio time anywhere else to be able to trial and error plugins,
Right.
So, again, it's just an effect of just taking time and yeah.
Did you say freedom? I remember we did a song on this is the Now or Never album, Keep It 100. We did a song, Keep It 100, and of course, sent Jason Joshua everything. And this is this is my first time.
No, that's not Now or Never. That's not Now or Never. Is it?
Mhm.
That's Now or Never?
No, never.
Okay.
This is my intro to an engineer also being a producer.
Right. Oh, I know you hated that.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a hate. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So the song comes on, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, what the fuck is? Because it starts off with this guitar thing, and it's doing, and me and Jason, we have like this, this little kid. We're like little kids, we cussing at each other, and he said, "Shut the fuck up and just listen," right? So started over, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, and it just grows into this thing, and then it comes. I said, "You're amazing! This shit is crazy. Do it again," right? And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Right.
He's like, "Bro, just let me do my fucking thing, man. Just let me." I said, "Never. I will never stifle you. I will never have demoitis
Right.
ever again.
Right.
Do whatever it is that you do."
Right. And if you, sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
That's important, man, because and I tell young artists that I work with, or young artists that I come across and inspired by and have conversations with based on just my experience. I'm like, man, it's important if you have somebody there that gives a fuck enough to just do. Man, lean into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lean into that,
Yes.
right? Because the worst, at the bare minimum, what you could say is, hey, go back to the last version. But give somebody that freedom,
Right.
to be able to experiment, right? Because you might find something that you can now take and add to your fucking toolbox that, sound, so I can imagine that feeling, man, and knowing Jason, right? It's a legend.
There's something wrong with him. Yeah. It's something wrong. Like, and it's that freedom that takes the creativity to another place, because if we all can creatively contribute,
we're all invested in it.
We're all like, it just does. Like, imagine the guy who was first dialing up Travis Scott.
Right.
Imagine that. Or if it's him, it's like, there's no the ad to put that on there and then put that on there. That's me.
That ended up his sound. That's that's exactly right. That's
Now
exactly
we're
right.
chasing that.
Right.
As opposed to him saying, nah, don't do all that. You're doing too much.
Right. I tell individuals all the time, man, it's like, man, when you, like, and especially nowadays, it's a different time where, these young creators, right, very ambitiously, right, I love it about them, right, go out and, build brands behind themselves and, want to charge the $5,000, $10,000 a mix, but are not just there. Fall in love with the music first, right? Become an irreplaceable asset first, right? And then you can set your rate.
Here it is.
Right? It's you have to love it enough to do it for, as many fucking months as you can endure for free because you love it so much. Right. And, that's when, you have those engineers and artist combinations, right? That we've seen withstand, just generations of music.
I don't want to leave the mix yet. Who, from a mix standpoint, were guys that you listened to?
Dr. Dre.
Period.
I'm sorry, it's one and only. That's the one and only, mine.
It's him.
It's
him.
Shit.
So, because that's what I was going to ask you too. I'm glad you
to the Holy Grail.
Yeah. Because
that's the one and only.
Early on, you were blessed to be connected to him, because obviously y'all ended up doing y'all deal through Aftermath.
Right.
How does that go? Because my other question is kind of a two-part question where, did you have issues in the beginning when y'all first did y'all major deals with the labels being like, oh, well, maybe y'all should take these records to such and such to let them mix it. Did y'all ever even have those conversations, or
Nah,
was it
man.
just like Top wasn't going for it?
For one, for all we know, Top ain't going for nothing. But outside of that, man, just Kendrick, right? Just in control of the music. Like, we've developed a sound, an experience. We've developed this from, years before, the Good Kid, Mad City project, where, Kendrick is the one that was, boldly, like, you know what I'm saying? I was fucking, Dre is an idol to me. I'm nervous to meet the fucking guy, you know?
Yeah.
And Dre, died as like, yo, I want Ali in the mixing room with you, as we're doing this, because we developed a sound and I don't want to lose that essence. Right. So Dre being, as open-armed in a sense, where that album was almost a training ground, because going from mixing in the box everything prior to that, right? Using cracked plugins, stolen M boxes, no multi-tracks, really chopping up the 2-track and reversing shit. Right now, Dre's teaching me the console and how to mix on the SSL, right? So I'm taking all the digital tricks that I've acquired, right, throughout my own personal journey of trial and error, and now I can apply it right on the analog console with that sound, right? And that essentially is another, milestone in my career that, made me who I am, and kind of, merged my, highly affected sound with the clarity and depth of analog, right? And
Talk the talk, young man.
Off the races,
Yeah. So how long were y'all in? As far as just
man.
you and Dre just
Because he's different.
Yeah.
chopping away.
So, man, there was this old studio in Santa Monica, No Excuses. It was the one across from
Interscope.
Yeah. And Dre had that one really locked down. When we started mixing the album, because obviously months before that, as Dot was finalizing the album, Dot had sessions with Dre. It was pulling up the studio, playing songs, like getting feedback, recording there with him at times, etc. But when it got toward time to actually mixing, Dre actually gave me one of the rooms in the back, and he was in the front mixing. So we kind of took on the album as a pair, right? Where he would get a batch of songs, and I would be in the back working on a batch of songs. Funny enough, the board that I mixed that album on, and No Excuses, I bought, and we'll go into that story.
Love that.
I bought that board.
We'll go into that story. But so again, it's the first album that I mixed on a console. Dre's in the front, working on a batch of records. I'm in the back, again working on the other batches. And he would come in and critique me. Like, he would come in and put thumbs up, thumbs down, or tell me what he would do different. Or I'll go into his room where he would kind of walk me through and show me, why he would be doing things, or if the board is clipping right, it's a good type of clip where only on drums or percussion where you get this kind of peak. That that's why Dre's drums always snap in the way that they do, right? Because of how he manipulates that console and pushes it to its literal limit. So it was, again, when I say milestone, right? I'm learning techniques that somebody has learned over time span of his career, right? And and again, it was just as welcoming as he was to have me in these rooms and support it the way that he did, right? Again, it's just something that to this day I still can't process.
It's like, it's unfair. Like, Dre is like, hearing a Dre mix in a Dre room is like, no, nobody can do this.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna, and it's not gonna sound like this anywhere else. You're in this room,
Yeah.
but the room is crazy.
Right.
And like, cause back in the day, it used to be two people for me. It was Teddy Riley, and it was Dr. Dre. I was like, I don't know how they're doing this. Timbaland had his own mix style. Him and Jimmy, they had their own. That was just separate. That's a separate universe, right? Nobody, I can't figure that out. But Dr. Dre and Teddy Riley had this thing where it was like, we're chasing this.
It's clarity, man. It's rhythm also, right? Just even with Teddy, with the percussion being the lead, the hi-hats being the lead, the hi-hats layering the kicks.
Used to be,
it's all those high midfield sounds, bro, that really catch your ear and are the rhythm makers of these records,
But it's also too like a thing where mixing, like track sonics and all these things, mixing evolves, right? And I feel like, you know, in the Heavy Teddy days, kind of mid heavy, kind of low mid, and maybe like that high mid frequency, like that was heavy back then because it wasn't super 808 low.
Yeah. The percussion was the driver.
The percussion was the driver.
Yeah.
And then it was like, as we just started,
it's like away from here, and then when you go further west, now it's like start sucking in other drums. You know what I'm saying?
when you start migrating into the 2000s, now ass is a thing.
It's dragging.
like I think when a testament to that is when the Beats headphones first came out, and you hear "Buy Me a Drink" was a tester for the Beats headphones.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you hear the ass in here?
You can close your eyes and see it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you?
I'm telling you, that's real.
I don't want no other headphones that don't put the ass on my ears.
It's funny. I forgot what documentary. I think it was the Defiant ones, the Jimmy and Dre doc. But it was either that or some clip that I seen. And you know, one of the inspirations. And please don't quote me on it, but I very vividly remember this. Jimmy was like, "Yo, Dre's mixing these songs on fucking $1 million boards in these big studios for them to not sound good when you hear them."
When you hear 'em.
Right, and that was one of the inspirations behind. So them Dre, you know, now you're hearing the ass like you're supposed to.
Hearing the ass,
you know,
supposed to.
Yeah,
I was like, it was revolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's go to because I want to get into the projects. Right, I just want you to, you know, at some point we're going to start running off projects and names. Let's go to the next level, which is mastering.
Right.
Because that's a completely different science. There are great mix engineers who don't necessarily graduate or even want to roll into the mastering space.
Right.
And over the last 7 years, I've seen so many engineers that are like, no, I master it too.
They do it all, yeah.
They do it all.
Yeah.
What does it take to take that next step?
So it's a good thing, as you said, over the past 5 years, quote, right? You know, or you know, just like as of late, you've been seeing more engineers. And I want to go back to when we talked about from the Teddy Riley going up to, you know, early 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
The style of mixing has evolved, right? That's now another evolution, right? Where it's now 808 and bass driven, right? Where all these young kids, these early albums, all they want is that 808 to just flutter. They want that to be the driving record. Even the kicks are taking the bottom line to the 808.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, where the 808s are really just taking over the whole mix, right? And these engineers are the ones doing that, right? Where, you know, me personally, my era of music, the 2010s, 2020s, you know, obviously, you know, still, you know, heavy in the game now, but, you know, venturing over to business. My whole thing was clarity, depth, right? My whole, you know, mixing process was, you know, making an artist sound like they're standing in front of the speaker, like it's not over processed, distorted, etc. But that was the music for that time, right? I feel like now where everything is at, everything has, you know, the low end driving, low end distorted, the Travis Scott type of sound, right? And these engineers that are, you know, because again, I outsource engineers. I'm mastering engineers for all my mixes. I go to either Mike Bosey or I go to Nicholas D. Parcell at $1 Million Snare because I want somebody else to now take on, you know, a part of the project, right? You know, sonically mixing, I go up to a certain level and I want mastering to kind of normalize it. But these kids now with the mastering is, again, they're able to take the whole flow from recording, mixing, mastering because it is now like part of like the sound, like the distortedness, the vocals to the front, bass to the front, everything else played back burner. It's like a style that I could say that really has been cultivated and created by these engineers over the past 5-6 years. But saying all to say this is, you know, I admire those that, you know, take on, you know, the full creative process. You know, I know Jason does it now as well too, right? He masters his own mixes.
And before he was outsourcing.
Exactly, right? But that's even, he was analog and I know he's in the box now. You know what I'm saying? So it's all an evolution with the times, you know, of music. And I think, you can only push a record so far on a console, right? Compared to mixing in the box, right? You can get more loudness in the box, etc. So again, long-winded answer, but saying all to say is the engineers that are now doing the recording, mixing, and mastering, doing everything in the box the way they're doing it, they're able to really, push these records and just have more control over the final product at the end of the day.
You alluded to buying the board. you mixed on. What board would that be, and for what purpose did you buy said board?
So, we talk about the engineers that are mixing. I'm still very much analog. That's, one, I love the sonics, studio rat in every essence of the word. But also it's like, it's what keeps me like loving it. Like I am the mouse, right? It's, like I'm literally inside the computer when I'm, adjusting these mixes and, not looking at the computer at all, but that's me, right? I'm at a point in my career to where, I'm only working on things that I want to work on, right? So I'm not in the space of, trying to do 10 mixes a month or 10 mixes a day, a week, whatever. So, the acquiring the console, and for one, it's a part of, it's a through line in the story, coming up how I came up, Dre being my mentor, acquiring the old, the old Death Row, Can-Am Studios, and now the console that I was taught on, it's more of a memorabilia piece for myself, something I could pass down to my kids, really.
What board is it?
It's SSL 4000J, or SSL 4000G Plus. One of the last ones ever in production.
G's my favorite.
Yeah, those are the ones you can clip, right? You could just smash the percussion, the hi-hats. But again, it was, I think at the time No Excuses was shutting down, and Ed, the studio manager, had called me like, hey, the cons, because I spent years at No Excuses sleeping on those fucking couches. And surprisingly, I was the first one they called, like, hey, this board is available. And timing, again, it lined up where I was just moving into the studio, and I was like, hey, it just all came together like water.
Because that's what people have to understand too. You have to have somewhere to put these things.
Yeah, nah.
Right? Like people,
and the electricity is not cheap. I start there, like,
it's at all, right? But just because people be like, oh yeah, and then I got where you gonna put it? You don't have a facility. These are not boards that you just put in your living room.
So it was the original one, if you remember, at No Excuse. It was an 80 channel G Plus that we cut down to 48.
Okay.
So it could fit the room for one, and if you just know the logistics of getting these parts to these consoles, it's impossible. So we just wanted spare parts that we can kind of use.
Gotcha.
But it's you need a facility. I mean, the computers are as big as this fucking the speaker mount, right? It's they're old. They're from the 80s. It's like buying an old Chevy. Like something's always broke on a motherfucker. Like
it's a classic.
It's a classic. So we have a G Plus in the front room, and I got a J, an 80 channel J in the back room.
80 channel J.
Yeah. So we have.
And you did a whole overhaul.
Full overhaul
of the building.
So we acquired the studio 2000, like the peak pandemic.
Yeah.
And during this time, I had Encore, American, Paramount. I had all these rooms booked out, just working on multiple albums. And I realized, man, I'm giving these studios too much fucking money, man.
Right.
All the money.
I think when I went through statements, and I was just just doing my annual what the fuck. I think I was giving like $350K a month in studio bookings between all the different rooms that I had.
You had that many bookings?
I had 4 rooms going at one time. Yeah, 4 rooms going at one time.
Good Lord.
Cooking, boy. I'm talking about
cooking, boy.
Cooking. But it's like I had a formula. I had an incredible team. Like but boy, I'm like, me looking around. I'm like, this is tight, but like, there's a leaky bucket somewhere. Like and I'm like, okay, it's a studio. Like I'm like, it's an opportunity where on top of incredible mix fee, right? It's I can also get the other side from the studio, which. At times, studio might get paid more than the mixer, right?
Is somebody telling you this, or are you observing and just as a hustler, like
I'm looking
this
at
don't
it.
make sense.
Yeah, it don't make. I'm looking at it because I'm the one that's connecting. I'm the one the client books me. I'm the one connecting the client with the studio. I'm in the email seeing it. I'm like, I'm just watching. Just imagine sitting in traffic. All these buses are just driving by you, and I'm just trying to catch each one. And I'm like, okay, something's got to change, and this, I think it probably was one of the smartest decisions I ever made.
Yeah. No, you know what's crazy? We had a room there.
Yeah.
We had a room at Can-Am.
Yeah.
We had a whole
We had
side
really a
upstairs.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a side.
Yeah.
We had the offside. It was
We had the right side.
yeah, because it's the main building.
There's two. Yeah, there's two. So there's two sides.
Yeah.
There's the front side and the back side, and then we have the back side.
We actually did Omarion there.
Yeah.
We did a Marion there.
Yeah.
The history it goes back crazy. I think because I would say going back to the 70s to the 80s when it opened, you got everything from Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Right then you got the Michael Jacksons, you got Whitney Houston's, you got Mary J. Blige, you got Mariah Carey, you got Janet, right? And then it just continues, right? So it's the energy is real in that building.
Did you keep the name Can-Am, or you?
No, we changed it. No Name Studios.
No Name Studio.
No Name Studios. I have a conglomerate of companies under the No Name group umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
No Name Recordings is a label that we also founded during the pandemic, where the whole idea of it is just ecosystem. Just develop an ecosystem. Watching the top dogs, watching the Dave Freeze, watching how everyone operates, and it's like, okay, the formula is ecosystem, right? The formula is fully vertical integrated, and that's what spawned that final piece of the puzzle, which is the platform, right? Providing a technical solution to allow this creativity to be multiplied, right, and scaled up globally.
How many artists do you have?
So at the moment with the label, there's no artists. We look at that as so the way we look at the label is creating. My whole thing. I've had the artist thing. I've done that, and I was excited to have it. It was a fucking headache. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Having it was just my experience. It was just my experience. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. It's not only singular.
It's
to
the
you.
experience.
It's the
So
experience.
now they're on the same page. But the fucking journey was, I'm never gonna work harder than somebody, on their own shit. That's one of the main things. One of the main asks that I have with anybody that wants to participate in what we have going on. And then it's accountability is a big thing for me. You can't expect the world if you don't even want to get out of bed. Saying all to say this, with every other business that that I have, I can control the product. And it's when it comes to working with the artist at the product of that song, right? And I'm trying to create a safe place for this artist to create and develop their sound, and there's nothing being created to control, right? It's a net negative in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So with the label, we're doing more of compilation projects, where we do these jam sessions on a weekly basis. We have musicians, artists, producers come by, where we open up the space. We create these all again friends of ours, incredible producers, artists, songwriters, etc. And with that, we take those songs and we send them out to other artists that are working on projects for placements. And another part of it is we're doing a compilation project. Where we take those compilation projects, we upstream them to the Engineears platform, because we just launched a direct-to-consumer offering for artists to sell their music direct to the superfans. And it's going to end with a concert series that we can rinse and repeat every quarter.
You said, and that's under Engineears.
That's under No Name Recordings.
Or under No Name Recordings. So what is Enginears?
So Enginears, so essentially, as an audio engineer, growing my business, didn't have any formal training on the business side of the shit, the admin side of maintaining relationships, payments, invoices. I realized as time went on in my career that it's becoming a headache trying to deal with it all. Right, I'm losing money on the table because I'm not invoicing, or I'm not catching up to these invoices that are 90 days behind, or it's hard to manage and maintain clientele as I'm working on one album, but I got 15 people emailing me to book a project. Right. So, we decided to build a platform called Engineears that, provided those like streamlined business solutions. So, think LinkedIn for the music industry, right? I create a profile.
Yeah.
I can host, I can upload all my credits, my credentials, how many Grammys, how many, RA certifications do I have? I could put bios, photos.
You'll be doing that all day, brother.
I
have a lot of those.
We cap it at a certain number. But we also allow an engineer like myself to host and solicit services. So we have, the ability for me to host a mixing package or Adobe Atmos mixing package, where an external client, an artist that wants to work with me, when they DM me, hey, Ali, I want to work with you on X, Y, and Z, I could just send them my URL to my link, has all the information on, the packages that I'm offering, the mixing, mastering, or Adobe Atmos packages. They could book me instantly. And the platform walks them through a workflow that go between the artist and the engineer up until completion. So we ensure engineers and studios get paid on time. The file transfer, the transparency on communications between your client, as well as credits. And
that's incredible.
Yeah, so through that, we raised about $10 million to date with that platform.
Yes, sir.
My man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
then we also,
Yes,
I'll
sir.
take that. I'll take that.
Yes, sir.
But it's been a journey, man. We just launched direct-to-consumer, offerings for artists. So, and the artists can come, book a studio like Airbnb, right? We have over 50,000 profiles globally. They can go through that flow. Once the studio sessions are done, they want to get their songs mixed and mastered. They can use the platform to facilitate and manage those projects. And then once they're done with their projects, they can one-click distribute to any DSP or sell direct to a super fan on their profiles.
And what's that website or app or what?
Engineears.com.
Engineears.com.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. Because we have so many subscribers and people that watch our show that are trying to find their way within this industry. You know what I mean? And that's been so important for us to be a safe place, not only for our guests, but for our audience.
Yeah.
We don't bring bullshitters on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We bring people who are really seeing the future in this music business and trying to help.
It's how we look at it, because again, the fear of like going from like, one of the top engineers in the world to now shifting into like music tech or just technology.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing to start. And that fear was real, because I'm like, yo, I'm at the top of my game and I'm about to start over.
Yeah.
Right. But then it goes back to something I said earlier, is just like being uncomfortable. It's like I thrive on being uncomfortable, because you're growing at that point. It's again one of the best decisions I made, because now my legacy now lives through millions of other creators using the platform that we built based on my journey and experiences.
Yeah.
So it's doing fantastic right now. Again, we got users all over the world. Partnerships with Universal Music Group, where we're expediting payments. Right, no more Uniport.
Okay.
And then even for the studio bookings, again, offering a solution similar to Airbnb, where you could book hourly session time. And we're excited about these new offerings, again, that are coming for artists to allow them to, distribute their music to any DSP with favorable payouts compared to other independent distributors, as well as direct-to-consumer offerings, sub-merchandise, digital downloads, vinyls, etc.
Yeah.
So, the goal for us at scale is we want to build the operating system of the music industry.
The future.
Yeah, you leveraged, you know what I mean? You just leveraged the greatness, and you took a step, like a big step in betting on yourself.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Big thing.
Yeah, betting on yourself. I think, excuse me, a lot of people, fear change or fear betting on themselves, because that can come with change, whether it's negative or positive. But like, everything's a test, man. You're going to be hit with, all type of shit. It's like how you're going to react when it comes, And, again, I speak on this often, because like I'm no different from any other kid that is in the hood or anywhere just thinking that they can't, do specific things. It's just do it. Start somewhere. And you said leveraging everything that you're right. Like I didn't start a restaurant. I didn't go, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something that I'm great at based on, how I got here. It worked, right? And now let's automate that.
Yeah.
And it just showed that it's another one of us that look like us doing it, not somebody in Silicon Valley in a 50-story building,
For real.
telling us that, the cost of music creation is nothing,
But it's still also maximizing, right? Within the space, the leverage, the taking it to the quote unquote Silicon Valley aspect of it, but it's still very much in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I 10x, 20x what I already know?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be framework that takes it outside of this, that takes it outside of me.
Right. And you know what that was? And I'm sorry I cut you
No,
off.
you're good. Perfect.
What that was realizing that I'm not the only one dealing with not getting paid on time.
Yeah.
Realizing that I'm not the only one getting 10 emails sent to me for a mix to mix one song, and I'm spending more time deconstructing these files rather than, spending more time on the creativity or not getting credited or, not getting fucking, again, going back to the payment side of things. So, and we learned that through workshops. So before we had a platform, before we even had a platform, I did workshops. I reached this in 2017. I reached this brick wall where I was uninspired. Like, I was out partying heavy, and I was at this point.
That's when you had the big hair?
Yeah. That's what I was in the field.
You showing out?
I was in the field.
You showing out?
Got my hair out.
100%, dog. You know what I'm saying? I let them out. But it was like during this time, man, it was like I just, and I gracefully say that I didn't understand, like, why the fuck do I have all this success, right? It was a weird moment for me, because it came so fast. And it wasn't until I started educating and teaching and doing these workshops that kind of gave me more like inspiration to kind of continue, because I'm like, I see a lot of me in all these people I come across.
Right.
So before we had the Engineears platform, I launched this series called Seeing Sounds Workshops, where
I remember saying that.
Yeah. So I went to the ICMs, I went to the William Morris. I said, hey, I got an idea to go on tour as an engineer and do these fucking workshops. They're
What'd
like,
they say?
nah, I don't see the value. I'm like, all right, bet. So I did pre-sale tickets and sold out. I think we did like $500,000 in like 6 weeks in pre-sale tickets. Right? We used that to go. We used that to go and rent the venues. Like, we did everything to ourselves. We rented the venues across the globe. We did fucking Tokyo. We did Korea.
Had you even been to these places before this?
No, I mean, I've been there as a DJ because I DJ for Kendrick through all this shit too.
Okay.
So I went out, but when you're on tour, you don't get to see nothing, right? You're on the bus or the hotel, and you're off to the next.
Well,
So-
I go walk around. Tank is, he's always like, Jay, did you walk on the city?
He got
I'm
he got his
yeah,
miles
I
up.
just walked around, bro. I
Yeah.
just wanted to see.
Right. I could, man. I was so tired, man. Man, I'm on the phone with my girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, we did these workshops.
So did you have connections in these places yet?
Nah,
From
so-
that tour or from tours or no?
No. So I literally went on like their versions of like a peer space. I found venues, warehouses.
Yeah.
And by this time, like, we had, 20, 30,000 on Instagram, like, as, following. And we just did pre-sale tickets. We did them at a premium, right? It was just $1,000 a seat. It was a full day experience, right? With, again, thousands of dollars to give away to all of our sponsors. But doing these workshops around the world, right? We left questionnaires for all of our attendees, asking like, hey, as a small business, like, what are some of the issues you deal with in real time? And again, after that, the pandemic hit, and we were forced to look at the information that we gathered. And it's like, fuck, it's not just the inspiration and the education that we're providing, with this workshop, it's the business tools. And that's what prompted us to go and build the platform, and continue that way. So
No, the cool part for me, bro, honestly, is you created a solution.
Yeah.
Because everybody has an opinion.
Right.
And everybody can
Absolutely.
tell you what's wrong.
Right,
And this is
right,
wrong
right,
and that's
right.
wrong. Okay, so what the fuck
Right.
are we, or not just you, we
Right.
going to do about it?
Right.
What is the solution to these problems that we're having
Right.
that would make our business just run so much smoother? Because I think the other part too is people get caught up in, I say this a lot, man. There's just certain people who would rather complain
100%.
than actually do something about
I think
it.
they want things to be wrong to complain.
Yeah. Because honestly, they're scared. A lot of times they're scared. And then the other side of that is people feeling like, well, it's just wolves anyway, and it's just fucked up people and the devils and the this, that, and the other, more so than saying, hey, I actually didn't turn my shit in.
Right.
That's why you didn't get paid or credited,
Right.
or now you want to try to sue somebody. How about they might not even known your ass was on the song?
Right. And
How
that's
about trying to figure that out first?
Yeah, and that's
I'm not even signed up with
Right.
ASCAP.
Type
I'm not
shit.
signed up with
Right.
the, I don't
But
know
think
about
about all of the creatives that don't know that, right? Like, we're all small businesses, right?
Yes.
We need to
Independent
know,
contractors.
all of us, right? But there's never been a tool, right, that show us what the fuck needs to be done right. You're expected to learn all these things,
Right.
right? And you go back to the solution, right? You're 100% right? And yes, we started with audio engineers, right? The people that, historically have never been given a flag to fucking wave, right? And, this is why we're seeing early on this mass adoption of engineers on our platform signing up and becoming members, right? Because they're finally seeing that solution to the problem, right? But that's also enabling us to now scale up the vertical of creation, audio engineers, recording studios, music distribution, and direct-to-consumer sales, right? Because the audio engineers historically are the conduit to we hold the relationships with the producers. with the artists themselves, with the managers, with the labels.
I spend more time with everybody.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, why isn't that why is it that our tech stack is having to use Dropbox, Cash App, Venmo, QuickBooks, invoices, Gmail, text message, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if we should build a tool where all engineers don't want to work nowhere else but our platform, naturally they're going to tell all of their artists, hey, I only want to work here.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring on their artists, hey, book me using this link here.
Right.
Book me here.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it makes it easier for them too.
Right. So now that we've seen that, now what's the next step? Providing these, distribution. Now that we're having artists naturally and organically coming onto the platform, signing up, utilizing these tools, let's offer them what they're naturally doing once the project is done, which is download and go upload to another SoundCloud or, other distributors. So why don't we just do a one-click distribution straight from their profiles, right? So it's really, verticalizing creation as it should be, right? But starting with the artistic intention of music creation and then going into all the other admin tools, right?
Yeah.
So it's.
I can tell you've been speaking too, brother.
No, he's been.
Yeah. You've been
He's been on
road.
his world tour.
Yeah. You got a couple TED Talks out there. I love it though, bro.
It's you know what it is, man. It's I fucking care, like It's,
You're absolutely passionate.
You
about
know what
it.
I'm saying? It's I get in these blackout moments to where like I could just go on these tangents like forever about what I built, but it's think about I come from nothing, bro. Like what I'm saying, and now we have over 30 employees. We're doing things in music, tech, just in general, right? That people my age don't really accomplish in like a large period of time, right? And I look at this as like inspiration to show other people, like, man, if you got an idea, run with it, right? If you're passionate about something, go for it, right? Because it's like you said, when you bet on your fucking self, right? That's when you reap all the benefits, man.
But put in the time.
Put in the time, man. Get you $10,000.
Because that's the other part,
100%.
especially in this generation.
Right.
Especially because they are one click away from
Are you kidding me?
things.
You know how many 10-year-olds are killing it right now, just being an
Say the
affiliate,
word.
Being
what I'm
affiliate.
saying? Like being affiliates and all these crypto shit. Like
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, man.
But it's the research. It's the research and it's the understanding.
Yeah, and
because you can get there, but
Yeah.
you may not stay there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Going. Yeah, man, staying there. That's the hardest part. It's easy to make $1 million, right? It's keeping it.
Let's talk about your staying power. Let's talk about the record.
Right.
Let's talk about what gets you, because you to where you are now, right? Because that is not an overnight thing.
Right.
That is absolutely not an overnight thing. Like you said, and we both can attest to this. We both slept on the floor. We both been in those trenches trying to figure out this whole music business thing. When y'all get Good Kid, Mad City, and it's the massive success that it becomes, and you won a Grammy off of that as well, right?
Man, that was the year. Bless your soul.
Somebody
Macklemore won that year.
Okay, somebody else won that year. But so from no song at all, did you not win a Grammy off of that album?
Off of so I think that was for the Pimp Butterfly. No, I think that album didn't win any Grammys.
None.
Yeah. It was
Not as a song or nothing.
I think like songwriter. I think like those individual like feature Grammy. I think he might have won like 1 or 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I hope so.
I think it was one of those like those
needs,
widespread like.
Yeah, somebody else got to come give up one of their Grammys for that, because that album is amazing.
Right.
So, but as you reaching this very high level of success, like what's going through your mind, bro? Like from being in Carson, on the floor, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to now it's like it's universally recognized, it's praised. How does that feel for you?
I mean, at that moment, right, it didn't hit, right? Because, first, obviously, personally, like bread wasn't coming in. Like, what I'm saying? It's your first, like,
so y'all
breakout.
still not getting to the bread yet?
We were touring heavy, right?
Okay.
Because we were touring from Section 80, right? And I know the money from the tour was way better than, what I'm saying? Because you need time for the albums to bubble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, we're still, like, we're back to work, right? And I think we're heavy on the tour. Kendrick is a touring artist. From going back to the Section 80, we toured the world on that.
At this point, you're purely DJing.
I'm purely
DJing
and engineer, but I'm purely just with Kendrick and TDE and everybody, because we're all just traveling as a group. So yeah, I'm DJing because I knew the music, while we're on the road, hotel setups, like we did a lot of To Pimp a Butterfly, like in hotel rooms. And
So
stuff
you
like
a DJ, or you a Jamie Foxx?
I was gonna
DJ?
ask
I'm a
him.
J.
Oh, you
I was
do.
Hey, I was just gonna ask,
you
is
do.
you this DJ or is you this DJ?
I started at, I promise you. I promise. You remember the old school instant replays?
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
started.
yeah.
I was that DJ at first,
Okay.
right? But then over time, because again, being on stage, like we did Coachella early, like it's like, you know, you
You DJ
I'm-
Coachella.
yeah.
You've never been a DJ before?
swear to God, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Insane, right? It's crazy experience. But during that time, I had to learn how, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to, and it was, think about it, an engineer stuck in the studio all day long. Now I can scream as loud as I fucking
Right.
want to.
Yeah.
And you
Like,
know
you know what
every
I'm saying?
single part of the song.
I know,
Yeah.
and what I'm drunk out, you know, I have a little drink too. I'm up there doing, I'm going crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The spirit is within me. You
Yes.
know? But it was, you know, over time, like I started doing separate little after party DJ gigs. Like,
Yeah, let me go get me a little bag.
I'm bombing it though. I'll tell you a story. We're Australia, bro.
Okay.
Good Kemet City tour. We go to Australia. You know, I get booked for an after party, right? A bag, one of the biggest bags that I make to DJ. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I went to the club. I got to send you guys the flyer, and I think I still have the video. It was so bad, I cleared the whole stage, the whole floor. I got on like at 9:30 to like a 9:30 to like 11:30 slot, bro. By the time 11:30 came, bro, there was nobody left in the club.
No.
So
And at that
how
point-
did you fuck it up?
But nigga, my blends was ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm up there trying shit. Like, I'm high-fiving the homies in the back the whole time thinking that we up.
I'm killing this
Like,
shit
you know
out.
what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, they
killing
tell you know, it was so bad, man. And I think that was a turning point where I was like, I got to figure it. Because if I want to keep getting this check right here, like,
Right.
you know, I got to figure this one out. You know,
And you in a different country, so it's
what?
like,
That was the
what's
best
the
part.
terrain
I didn't have-
out here?
I
Like,
didn't have to worry about no one like, you know, putting me on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, man,
Yeah.
this shit. It was like a little test. I'm at the bottom of the map. You know, I'm like, let me figure this out. But you know, we did, man. You know, I got connected while I was in Australia. I got connected with ShoutOut. They're from Auckland,
Okay.
New Jersey. Auckland, New Zealand.
New Zealand.
They got me one of those the DJ controllers.
uh-huh.
You know, and I was on my way from there. You know. But again, that gives a testament to like just always needed. If there's a part that needs to be played, I'll do it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing DJing, and I'm like, you know what, I'll do it. I know the music, right? And
I feel like that's a big part of the TDE success story.
is
Is
everyone
that
just play a part?
everybody
Yeah.
played
Service.
multiple parts.
Everybody
Everybody
was
was a
service.
Swiss Army knife.
And that's what it needs to. I think nowadays, man, there's too much what entitlement, you would say, right? Where
Yeah.
if there's a hole right there, right, someone's just not. Nah, it's not my hole to fill. Like, I'm gonna just keep. It's like you need to be able to flow like water, right? There is. I remember Top used to say, man, there is no roles around this motherfucker. Like, you know, I'm me personally. I'll go on tour. I'll be the DJ. I'll do security. Right, you know what I'm saying? I'll do the tour, man. I'll pick the bag up, like whatever it was,
Whatever's
like
needed.
you know what I'm saying? And that formula, I feel like, is the recipe, right? It's like when you got a group of individuals that the mission is all aligned, right? You know, at that point, bro, there's no losing because all the energy is focused on that success.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, I'm myself with everything I'm doing. I'm trying to multiply that. You know, myself. I'm trying to take what I've learned and apply that formula. You know, because I've seen it work. I watch it work in real time. You know.
Yeah.
So.
What do you, especially in your seminars, your talks,
Right,
your
right.
TEDs? What is your first piece of advice that you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Stop overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you know, going back to me working, you know, with 2 tracks in stolen, you know, equipment. I didn't know what I was doing. I even asked Dre when I first met him, like, how do I get my shit to sound like yours? He was
Stolen
like,
equipment or stolen plug-in?
dude,
All of the above.
yeah. You know, I think the statute is over.
Yeah, I'm
Young-
about to say,
young
'cause I
man.
heard this- you know, I heard this Craigslist thing
Yeah,
earlier. I
yeah,
felt like they
Oh,
was like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right,
You had to print-
okay, all right.
But
all
the
right.
thing was, when I asked Dre, I was like, yo, like, and he said something that still stuck with me. It's like, it's not what you're working on. It's who's pressing the buttons, right? And that stuck with me because I didn't know what I was doing with the equipment that I had access to or the equipment that I had in my possession, right? But it's just diving in and figuring it out, man. Just don't be afraid of failure because that's your biggest blessing, right? Is knowing what not to do
What
the
not
next
to do.
time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we're not gonna do that shit again. You know, so you know, I tell engineers, I tell creatives just in general, man, just, you know, take advantage of time, be present as you can. You know, because man, life moves so fast. And you know, just constantly always just be willing to listen and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there's never, like, no one's ever got No one's ever got music like figured out to the T because it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
You know, continue to study, man. You know, continue to study. Look up people that are, you know, coming up or, you know, bubbling, whatever the case may be.
I got a question about a song and a feeling. The backseat freestyle. I don't know if I had ever heard an engineer get shouted out. Like you hear the producers get shouted out, you hear the the homies, you get which you were all of those things too.
Right.
But in this instance, you were the engineer.
Right.
So when you hearing this record and you in the studio, and Dot says, "Let it run, Ali." Are you like, oh yeah, these hoes gonna love it?
It's easy now.
They gonna hear my name.
Yeah.
You just get one of the hit men. Yes. Man. Nah, you know what's funny about that though? That's a legit take because like I had this habit, again, ADHD, you know, at Top House we had these 2 monitors, right? And one monitor I'll have Pro Tools, the other one I'll be like on Twitter or like I'll be like, I'll just be on there doing something, right?
That sounds like me.
You know what I'm saying? Like very, very.
Is that what I have? I don't know.
You're one of us, my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
welcome, welcome to the family.
He'd be engineering me, watching basketball,
right,
and on Twitter, and all at the same time. Cause all his fingers doing Twitter.
He's on it.
Sending out tweets at the same time. Yeah, you hoes weak.
But now those were real takes. We're like, yo, because it'll be times where like I think I've heard something, I'll stop it. You know what I'm saying? But nah, let it run. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, historically, you know, those takes were, you know, like just like you'll let it run and he'll be like, yo, just keep it. You know, so it's yeah.
Oh, nothing like a good shout out.
It's in the history books
a great
now.
Shout out,
It's in the history books now.
Shout out.
Right. A good shout out can do a lot for you.
I need a shout out.
Is that better than laminate?
Huh?
It is, huh? Is that better?
I mean,
which one is better?
A shout out is better.
Because we have this thing with the tour laminate.
Yeah.
And what it can get you when you're on the tour, when you're on the right tour with the right artist.
A shout out is better internationally.
You know I'm Ali, right?
Because
Is that what you do?
your name is circulated without you actually having to be there.
It's reached the people.
But
You
the
know
cool part, I'm in the video.
See,
You know what I'm saying? Like
See.
if you go to the end of the video,
and then
like the name and the video combination.
and then you couple it with the
name and the
you-
video
You
combination.
couple it with the visual, you know. And you know, before he got to the set, he did his Valentine. You know, he lined it up
Make sure I'm my shit.
to make sure.
I was saying you got to go back and watch it. We're in Paris. We're under the Eiffel Tower when we shot the video, and it was again, man. The combination is ill, you know, especially in Paris.
Good favorite city,
Cape Town, South Africa. Beautiful. I'm talking beautiful. One of the best places on earth. Energy, food, culture, cost of real estate. Like you know, it's man. I always say that's where I want to retire.
In Cape Town.
Cape Town.
Retire
That's
in Cape
where
Town.
that's where you know at least have a place there. You know?
Yeah.
for sure.
I got to get to Cape Town.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's incredible.
Do you have a favorite record that you've produced or that you've engineered?
Favorite. I mean, obviously, it's all gonna just sound like I'm just biased, you know, because like everything. I mean, obviously, I'm a big Kendrick guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Big Kendrick guy. You know, I would say if I was to say one outside of like, you know, just, you know, the artists that, you know, that you know, the Kendricks or the SZAs or, you know, one of my favorite artists, Smino. If you're familiar with Smino, he actually just dropped a project, Maybe in Nirvana. Fantastic body of work. I think honestly, as of late, that's probably one of my favorite albums. Solely because of like, again, textures. Like I want things to constantly challenge me, right? It's only so many ways you can mix an 808 and a snap.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, when I go back and, you know, have the opportunity to work with like a Smino where every song is textured bass and, you know, live instruments and vocal production is out of this world, right? It lets you know, oh, you still got it, nigga. Like, you know. So I would say, you know, this Smino Maybe a Nirvana album, if you haven't checked it out, I would say check it out. Let me know what you think. Yeah.
Do you have a hymn moment where like where peers that you admire in your space call you and say, "Hey, nigga, that one"? Yes, sir.
100%, man. It's weird though, like, you know, and I see it with my friend, because like somebody would try to give me a compliment and I'll just tell them to shut the fuck up. I don't know why I don't like to hear compliments. It's like, you know, but yeah, I mean, there's those moments. I think there was one when we first met Jay-Z at No Excuses. And this is again from, you know, Kendrick saying my name in the songs. And I shook my hand, I'm like, yo, Ali. And he said, oh, like he like snapped, like, oh, this is the Ali from the.
Yeah.
And that was like, all right, you know,
Yeah, I'm him.
we up.
Yeah.
We up. I was like, we up. Like, what?
Yeah. You know the vibes.
Right. But yeah, man.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
you know, when it comes to, you know, like all of the praises and stuff, I look at it like, you know, it's the humbleness in me, because it's still like it's not. I'm grateful for everything that I have. Like, please don't take it as I'm ungrateful, but there's just so much more to achieve. The mission has just started.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I don't want to be praised until the mission is complete. You know, it's when I can say we walked away with, you know, just, you know, walked away with changing the lives of millions of people and my family and generations are, you know, that's when, you know, I want to really look up and be like, all right, nigga, like, you know, go chill out, go on the beach and relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But we, you know, we got work to do, you know.
I mean, I love that, and I also just want to make sure that you're clear on how much you've already done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And its impact and inspirational value. Like, it's not, you know, like we're, you know, us in this room, we're always looking ahead. You know what I mean? We get it, but like the future to us is like, there's so much shit up there.
So much,
that I gotta get. But the work you've done up until this point
should be celebrated.
is absolutely important.
Yeah.
And deserves.
Thank you for that. Thank you for
its flowers. Yeah.
And I, you know, definitely do. Like, you know, it's, you know, I just don't consume myself in it.
Yeah.
You know, like I keep my head underwater, right? And I lift my, you know, head up to see, you know, if we still float. You know, I'm definitely grateful for everything, and more than anything, my kids are able to, you know, have what they have, and you know, they're good while I'm out, you know, doing what I'm doing, and you know, grandparents proud, like, you know, all of those things, you know. So you know, thank you.
Yeah, and I was having this conversation with, we was on the road the other day with some of my guys, and I was like, do y'all really get it? Like what we do and how we live. Like we wake up every day and decide what we want to do.
Biggest blessing.
We don't wake up every day and have to do something.
Right.
We wake up every day and decide.
And the decision is based around something that you love.
Right. But that's where it can get fucked. That right there is what it is. That's that I feel like is the formula to success. Waking up and constantly deciding the good thing to do. You know, because again, we can all sit the fuck up and chill out. You know, in the drawers. You know, keep farting into the couch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Whatever the case. You know, but it's like it's that willingness to like get up and get to it, right? And that's like you can't, man. Like I think that's one of the things I'm most blessed about is that willing to like never be content.
You're deciding to be great.
You're deciding to be great. Like
every morning, you're saying, okay, what further steps can I take to be more, to do more?
And granted, being great doesn't mean we're perfect, right?
It's just,
it's you know what I'm saying.
It's just going.
It's just going.
It's like you said,
you know?
just fucking do it.
Yeah, just
try
it. Yeah.
And the results are going. I promise you, the results are the work. The work will do the work for you.
Absolutely.
It's not a matter of. This is my favorite phrase. It's not a matter of if, just a matter of when.
Right.
The work is going to do the fucking work for you.
It's not so simple. It's crazy that it's that simple. Like the formula is that simple, but it's still it takes a lot to jumpstart.
Because you got to choose it every day.
The focus and dedication.
You got to choose it.
That's the tough part.
Yeah.
Most people aren't focused, and most people aren't dedicated to pretty much anything. So if you can stay dedicated to something, you're going to have some form of success.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you how much or how little success you're going to have, but you're going to have some success. You're going to break into something.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that people should understand. In my opinion, they should understand that. Listen, if it's something that you really, really want, go after it and stay after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't waver in it.
That's a fact.
If it's something that you really, really want, it can happen for you. Because just like you said, you come from nothing.
Right.
You don't even come from a musical family. You don't come from anything. You don't come from connected into the industry, any of these things. And I think we all have that same origin story to a certain degree, where it comes from nothing that has to do with this.
Right.
I can't imagine this seat right now and me being a little boy.
Are you kidding me?
Even when my dreams were to sing and to write and those things, I didn't imagine that I would be sitting here now talking to people about the journey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Arsenio, I remember Donnie Simpson, I remember, you know what I mean, all these great guys that were so important to our culture. I didn't see me in that seat though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real, man. It's affirming for sure.
Yeah.
So we're still in it. We're still in it, and you know what I mean, and we're leading the charge to the future of more,
right?
And the things that people can be a part of that we could have never been a part of before.
And that is my legacy. Like, that's why people asking why this platform? Why? Because instead of me mixing one song a day, right, I can mix 1 million songs a day through what we built. Right? You know? So it's purpose, right? It's legacy.
Yeah.
That's the game I'm playing right now.
Purpose,
That's dope,
my brother.
bro.
Yeah.
That's
Like
dope.
your style.
I like your style. The purposeful style.
Purposeful style. Brother Ali. This particular Sonic was not mixed by you, but I'm gonna do my best, my brother,
Send it through.
to make it sound. As your journey as an instant replay DJ all over the world. I know you've heard some music of the R&B kind. Sonics that have inspired you to be the sonical genius you are. At this moment, we want to know what those songs are. Ali, we call this your top 5. Your top 5. Top 5. Your top 5 R&B singers, R&B songs. We've got to know before you go here on this show. Let the whole world know your top 5. Yeah. Top 5. Your top 5.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mixed by Ali. Your top 5 R&B singers.
Again, when I came in, I was like, there's so many, right? You know, been inspired by so many different artists, so many different just generations. And I actually wrote a list, you know, because it was you know. So I'll say top 5 R&B singers. And this goes back to like high school days when like I sit back and what most inspired me, what most like just has, like if I think about the song, I can pinpoint a moment in life, right? And this is the list that I came with. It's Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
My guys.
Yeah.
My
Jagged
guys.
Edge, right? Pretty Ricky.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's the kind of high school you talking about. Yeah.
I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you gotta throw the queen in there. You know, obviously SZA. You know, love me some good SZA.
Why not?
And the last one was really hard. You know, so as of late, as I've been like on this, I'm sorry I keep going into these conversations.
Do you
So I
think?
went into this journey of like re-inspiration on just different, and I found this playlist, right? And Shalimar was on it. Right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, how are you?
I'm saying
Yeah.
that, you know, one of my favorite songs that I know, that's gonna be played at my wedding is "This Is for the Love in You."
Come on,
Right.
Jody Wiley.
You know what I'm saying? So that I would say top 5 R&B artists, even though Shout Out is a group, obviously, but
Yeah.
they're there.
yeah,
You had 3 groups in
yeah,
there.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, man.
I want to point something out too, though, and I'm happy you said it because you've been a part of it.
Mm.
I had a debate with someone about SZA being an R&B artist,
Mm.
and I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
Oh, she was going for this with this. So that's an R&B singer
Absolutely.
Right.
at the core of her.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, you go back and listen to Love Galore.
Yeah.
You go back, you listen to all of them. Yeah, 100%.
She's just nice with
Yeah.
it.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, he's undeniable.
Just
Stop it.
nice with it.
And that's just my belief. And even when she does records like a Kill Bill,
Mhm.
she's still an R&B
She's an R&B
artist.
singer.
Right.
It's an R&B singer.
Right. You can't take 1 or 2 records or 3, 4 records and not categorize
You should be
that.
able to. You should be able to sonically
Do whatever
dance
you want.
wherever the fuck
Yeah.
you want to
Absolutely.
dance.
Yeah. Right.
Doesn't change the essence of who you are.
Right.
Shout out to SZA. Okay, your top 5 R&B songs.
Again, man, so many.
Mhm.
So many. And it's hard not to be biased, you know what I'm saying? So, I left you on the list on purpose, you know what I'm saying? All right, so look, back to Jamie Foxx, The Unpredictable album. Do What It Do, Jamie Foxx project.
Yeah, look, he's smiling.
Yeah, I know.
Look at him smiling.
Exactly. I know you like that one.
I know you like that one.
I got Frank Ocean, Thinking About You.
Yes.
Going back, Shalimar, This Is for the Love in You.
Mm-hmm.
Luther, Never Too Much.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why
You know
not?
what I'm saying? It's a nice blend. And I'm telling you, like, the reason why the old with the new is, I mean, for one, they don't make records like them no more. And this playlist I'm going to share with you, I'm talking like, it's like my mornings when I take my daughter to school with. And, like, it's one of those, like, it's just like the soul, the texture, the different breaks. Like, it's like just the structure of those records from like back in the day. You don't hear that no more. You don't hear those builds, those climaxes, right? Yeah. And that's I've been writing to a lot of just
How many was that?
That's
3?
That's 4.
That's
That's
4.
4?
That's 4.
Dang,
We need one more.
R&B songs.
It was one more R&B song.
Damn, man. You got Shalimar, Luther, Frank, SZA. I got SZA, Love Galore. Oh, Lauryn Hill, Doo-Wop.
Yeah.
Is that considered R&B?
To me.
I'll take it.
To me.
You'll take it?
Yeah,
You'll
I'll
take
take it.
I'm rolling.
I own every singer. We own them. They are ours.
Miseducation.
Are you kidding me?
That's-
Especially her.
That is an
Yeah.
R&B
She's
hip hop album.
ours.
It's an R&B hip hop album.
Yeah.
Hip hop can. They
She just
they,
did both.
They be trying to snatch people,
Right,
but
right.
she's one of ours.
Yeah, she's, you know what I'm saying?
Huh? Let's go back to Sister Act.
Yeah.
Huh?
Telling you, man. It was like, but it's again, even with like what that's what I'm looking forward to, like in the next gen of music is like, is going back to those, like going back to the production where there's actually like A and B side breakdowns. There's like all these climax and build-ups. There's live instruments. Like I think there's a big space for, those R&B acts that, just dive into like love making once again. Like, it's, everything's too slutty nowadays. Like, it needs to slow down a little bit,
Sorry, bro.
Nah, in a good way. In a good way. But it's, it's like those,
Well, you just need your mix.
You just
need
need
your
it.
mix because it's like
You
sexual
know.
healing was
Yeah.
considered
right.
slutty in those days.
No, I'm
You
saying
know
as
what I'm
far as like the rap, like the slutty rap. man,
Oh,
I think like
yeah,
it's
that's another level.
That's
Different
it's I'm turning that off. At the kid pickup. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man, there's a wide space for R&B, man, and I'm definitely anxious. If the artists are out there, man, please reach out. I'm in my DMs, constantly looking for new talent to, collaborate with.
Okay. Let's make a Voltron. You're super R&B artists. We're going to find an artist to get the vocal from, the performance style, the styling of the artist, the passion of that artist.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to mix that artist's project? Yeah, we got a new wrinkle to that. One vocal to make your super R&B artist.
Mary,
Damn.
Oh, yeah, you want the passionate artist.
Mary.
Yeah.
You want no more
Yeah,
drama.
They gonna feel this artist.
Right, Mary. I'll go with Mary.
Not going to shed a tear.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Performance style.
Rihanna.
Super
Bowl Rihanna.
Super Bowl Rihanna. Full vibe.
All energy.
With a baby.
That's when they're most fierce.
It's very animal. Which I see what you did there. Yeah. The styling.
Like
Yeah.
physical time.
What they gonna put on them?
I'd have to go Rihanna as well. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just very upscale, casual. And I'm not a fashion guy, you know what I'm saying? So if I offend you, Rihanna, for saying upscale, casual. But she's very fashionable out there. I like how Rihanna looks.
No, she's always fly.
Yeah. She's fly.
You know?
You ain't saying nothing wrong.
Yeah, okay, I bet.
You're right.
He's right. We got it.
The passion of the artist.
Dang, passion? I mean, because Mary has passion. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if it was to be Beyonce?
Okay.
Is that, you know?
Okay.
Very passionate.
Let's get family. Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
Let's see Beyonce. Yeah. You ain't saying nothing wrong.
All right, let's get it.
And who mixing this shit?
I mean, come on, man. You gotta fuck with your boy.
You gotta MixedByAli.
Man, thank you for having me, man.
Sick of this shit. Go get right to it.
Oh no, we gotta
One more thing.
let him get his piano game together again. And would you mix his piano for him? Would you?
Absolutely.
He can do something with this.
Yeah.
He can do something with this.
Could you do something with that?
I ain't saying no names.
Hey.
I ain't saying no names. I ain't saying no names. I ain't saying no names. Who you was, who you was with, what you did. Don't say shit. I ain't saying no names.
Yeah.
There it is.
So a very important part of the show
So important.
where you tell us a story, funny or fucked up, or funny and fucked up. But the only rule to the game is you can't say no name.
Okay. I can leave hints though, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, being that this is, the R&B podcast, I was working on the R&B album. It did very well, actually. I think you've all heard of it. But during this time, this is funny and fucked up. It's funny and I like dark humor a little bit. But it's fucked up because it's just fucked up. So I was mixing this album. I was going through like one of the worst times in my life, like mentally, like, you know what I'm saying? Very, very fucked up. And I was tasked with mixing this album. And during that time, what I was going through did not fucking matter, right? Because this album was on its way. And I was already just mentally just beat down and, completed this album, and the artist comes in and this person says, I'm going to quote the other person's name, not the person who said it. But this person said, hey, Rick Ruben hates the way the mixes sound. Right? I'm talking, I want to bang my head through a fucking wall, right? And I think that was one of the most trying times in life, because already mentally at one of the most trying places in life, and then having somebody who does not know what you're going through, right? Continue to beat you down, right? The album did fantastic, how it sounded, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking one of the biggest albums. I think that, was a funny and fucked up moment, because now when looking back at it, I almost went back and remixed it just out of ego. And I'm glad I didn't, right? Because I don't think it would have,
The effect.
it wouldn't have that same effect.
Yeah.
So funny and fucked up moment,
So you kept it.
I didn't touch shit. I actually went home and
He's like, all right.
I was like, well, fuck you, and it ended up coming out, and it was, it was great. Funny, but was that too dark?
Nigga said, I don't give a
No.
fuck.
Hell no. Because it's very real.
It was. Man. It was 2017, and it was 2016 possibly. This person came in, knocked on the door, and said, Rick Ruben hates these mixes, and walked out. And I was like, fuck it, I'm to the house.
Come to the house.
Oh,
Good
man.
luck.
What a time.
And then it became a huge success.
Incredible.
Hey, man, sometimes you just got to do you, brother.
You got to trust your engine.
Just
Ears.
you.
You gotta trust them.
Engineers.
You gotta trust
Trust
your
your
engineers.
engineers.
Yeah, I love that title.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's hard.
that name.
Come on, man. Come on.
That's hard. I just, bro, I love everything you've done. Like, as a creative, I mean, absolutely, you're one of the best.
Oh, come on.
And
Are you kidding me? Like what?
And you've mastermind ways to maximize that to where it's not a solo mission anymore.
Mm-hmm.
To where now you are united with like-minded, like artistic beings that share your energy, and sharing that information and creating these platforms that make it cool and make it easy. And it's just, bro, it's just really, really cool to see.
Yeah. Thank you for that, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you both
Like,
of you for
seriously.
giving me a platform. Like I said, like these stories I think are meant to be heard, right? Because it's I hope this one inspires at a minimum of one other person.
Yeah.
Right. And if done that, then I think, my mission has been, successful here for the day. I'm big on giving back. I'm big on each one teach one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for letting me into your home and allowing me to tell my story.
Hey, man,
Absolutely.
the
No,
masters
we
have
want to be a
heard.
part of it, man.
Yeah.
We want to be a part of it. We want to funnel people through.
Yeah. And like I said, you guys mentioned you have a lot of artists. Like like I said, we have well over 50,000 creative studios across the globe. I would love to give you guys like platform credits to any followers you guys have if they're looking to book a studio time or getting songs mixed or mastered. They can do that.
Yeah, we would
courtesy
love to
of
give
R&B
that to
Money
our
Podcast,
people, man, for sure.
Yeah.
You heard them.
Yeah, yeah.
Get over there.
Yeah, we got a couple hours for y'all.
Then get some. We gotta.
No, that's dope, man.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
make
you.
sure we get you guys connected. So
Yeah,
if
sure.
it's valuable, you can get them to
Absolutely.
your viewers.
Great shit. We support you, brother. Anything ever we can do to help, man. This is home for you.
We
man.
coming by
I would
no
love
name,
for- that's
too.
what I would love for you guys
we
to
know.
come
Oh
check
yeah,
out.
we gotta definitely come by.
I gotta see what it look like now.
Hey,
Man, it's
nostalgia.
It's not it's not too far from me.
Yeah.
You know, I remember. You know what? My fondest memory of that studio when I ate that edible.
Oh, that is where you thought you was gonna die off
It
of weed.
ended up in the hospital,
Don't those be the funniest ones?
bro.
I'm on tour, bro. On tour, Ab-Soul had got like a box, like a brownie from like a fan, and it was a weed edible. And I told him not to do it, but I guess like the dosage was wrong or whatever. He's in his bunk, crawling out the bunk like it's a coffin. Like I'm talking like the worst trip ever,
I
dog.
feel his pain.
Yeah,
No, bro, he was cooked.
man.
It was his guy though that brought it.
I've never taken edible.
It was.
It was your guy.
Holistic.
Yeah.
Holistic. Holistic was.
I wonder where Holistic is now, man.
I want to find that punk motherfucker.
He's the nicest guy, too.
She gave me that bad batch. I thought I was dying. Nigga.
On a mission. I need to find this dude.
I was in the hospital
I'm the
dying.
nigga who don't smoke weed, who got the homie that's the biggest
that's
connect.
That's the
with
last.
And I'm not even like, I'm not even that guy. I
Right,
just
right,
like, you
right.
know,
Try
it's
it.
sitting in the cupboard. I'm like,
I sent you to the moon real quick.
nigga.
Hooked,
I
bro.
was for 4 days. I had Parkinson's disease
Yeah.
for like
that's
4
why It
days.
stay in your bloodstream. Man. That's why I can't fuck with the Eddies, man.
I
I
love
love a good blunt. Like I love the twist. Like it's like ghetto origami. Like I love to sit down.
Yeah.
Cut up the wood.
You know what it is? I just need to stay in my lane.
No, he thought
That's
it
what
was
it is.
dessert, bro.
Yeah.
I heated it up in the microwave.
He heated it up, put some ice cream on
it.
top.
It needed to be
Yeah,
soft.
I'm doing it all.
It
No,
need-
bro.
It needed to be
So you
soft.
can't say he ain't never took you nowhere now. You know what I'm saying?
Stop blaming me, bro. I just knew the guy. I connected Tank with the guy.
you
You
into
know what I
you
mean?
got to entangle.
So yeah, I can't wait to return to the scene of the crime
Oh,
Right,
yeah, that's great.
where this guy got
God,
me out.
that's where it was, bro.
Good times over there. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what you've done.
Nah, 100%, man. I think you guys will love it.
My name is Tank,
I'm J Valentine.
and this is absolutely the R&B Money Podcast, the authority on all things
Yes.
R&B. First impressions are everything. How you sound is important.
Get your sound right.
And this has been mixed by Ali.